Hello, Echo Units. My name's Titan, and today I'm going to be going through the match between Team Jokr and Nfinite that took place this past weekend in the VRML Season 1 Finals qualifiers. I just wanted to preface this by saying that this is a really crazy matchup, and it is making a bit of history because if you're new to the competitive scene, you haven't been following, Team Jokr has not, until this matchup, dropped a single round to any team other than Kang for a little over 5 months as of the when the match was played, and that's just a little bit of incredible. So, without further ado, let's get into the match. So we're gonna jump into our first clip here that took place right at the beginning of the match. We see Nfinite won the joust and they're taking control of the disc. Immediately they get possession of the disc and they slow it down. They're taking their time because they're not in any rush. They got a lot of time on the clock. They're moving the disc. They're controlling it. They're drawing Jokr out. Again, controlling the disc, taking their time. The importance of the first goal is super important in this matchup, and so they definitely want to make sure they get it. And they do make the pass to Zach on the backboard and eventually get the goal. So let's go back through that clip. So again, they take their time, they move it back, and they're playing a bit of a game against Jokr here because Jokr's kind of infamous for not for really not being a fan of this kind of slow play. And so Nfinite definitely just going to abuse that fact a little bit, trying to get them a little bit off their game by right off the bat of the first game, taking it really slow, trying to let Jokr know that they're setting the pace for this matchup and that they're setting a very slow pace. So they're controlling the disc, they're moving it up. The importance of the first goal in VRML matches is incredible because if the match is played with minimal mistakes made by either team, then whoever scored first is going to win. Because in a sort of a close to optimal play by both teams, it's going to go back and forth with the offensive team scoring 2-pointers. And so whoever scores first is immediately in the lead of that back and forth. And so as long as nobody makes any massive mistakes in the matchup, that's how a lot of matchups will go. And so, yeah, that's just really important. Nfinite immediately playing to Jokr's, getting in their heads immediately by just playing this really slow play that they're doing here. And then just taking their time, trying to draw them out, trying to get them a little bit uneasy, making a little bit of a dangerous pass there when this player was open, but that's fine. And they do end up getting the first goal off this. So this is really strong from Nfinite. In the next clip here, we see Jokr has the disc on the launch. You see Dash takes control of it, passes to his teammate in the tunnel. Disc goes through pretty quickly with a bounce to the floor. Jokr picks it up, but then gets pretty swarmed, and they do end up losing the disc here. Nfinite is able to get the clear, but does get picked up by Dash. But so this is a couple important parts right off the bat here. We can see Dash grabs the disc off the joust. He's their quarterback for Team Jokr. And he takes the disc and starts floating forward. He doesn't grab onto the desk, so he's playing kind of an aggressive QB style. It makes a quick pass to Jokr, or to his teammate over on the side. Looks like Kang. And you can see here, Nfinite has a defensive stack here. And as soon as the pass gets made, they stop at the nearest block and then immediately turn and pressure the pass. This is why the defensive chain is strong, is because if it doesn't get taken out, they are applying constant pressure to the disc holder. So the disc holder immediately has pressure. The chain is able to stay together without getting punched out quickly. And then immediately this player who just receives the disc gets pressure as well. The pressure eventually does overwhelm Jokr, and it does eventually cause them to get the turnover. Now, it does go back to Jokr, and Jokr regains possession, but just the way that Nfinite stopped the momentum kind of beat Jokr's best chance of scoring the goal. Because right at the beginning of the round, his first possession of the disc is the highest chance you have to score. And as soon as you get put into a position where you have to reset like this, the defense has more time. You have a little bit less momentum, and it's harder for the offense to make a play. They have to play a little bit slower. But you can see here, Kang does get a punch off on one of the chain members, but the other member does get a boost through, as well as the other defenders being on Ryan, and he is able to get punched. They're able to get the disc. So they're able to stop Jokr's initial momentum going into the play, and that does give them the opportunity to slow the offense down and reposture themselves and just set up for a better defense. Jumping into the next clip here, we see, and in contrast, we see an Nfinite joust. And instead of hanging onto the nest or instead of moving past the nest like we saw Dash do, we see YouTube grabs onto the nest, holds onto it, and forces Jokr to move up and pressure him here. He ends up moving forward, hitting a good bounce shot stacking up with his teammate and chasing the disc. And just like again, just a kind of the contrast between the way that Jokr played the joust. They grab the disc, move forward, look for a very quick pass. We see Nfinite instead holds onto the nest and then waits. You see Jokr doesn't actually have anybody coming to pressure him, so YouTube can just sit here, hold the disc, wait. His teammates can kind of play, try and mess with the Jokr players, get stuns out. Ryan's forced to move up alone. Then YouTube immediately pushes off, gets past him, makes the clear. His teammate then, who is kind of left open once Ryan left, is able to get with him. They're able to get a stack. The stack does fall apart pretty quickly, and so the play wasn't as clean as it could have been. But just the way that Nfinite and YouTube in particular play kind of to Jokr's weaknesses and playing really slowly and making them get impatient definitely helps them out a lot in this matchup. Jumping to the next clip here, we see Jokr moving down the field with the disc. Kang takes disc. We see Jokr kind of getting open to the backboard. YouTube plays pretty aggressively, and the disc just dings off the rail. Then we see kind of a scramble for the disc. Nfinite does come away with it. Make the pass over to Andy in open space. Then makes the clear, which is followed up on by an Nfinite chain. Let me see YouTube make a pretty daring pass to Zach, who makes a really crazy shot and ends up hitting the goal and putting Nfinite ahead. So there's a lot that happens in this play. So I'm just going to break it down. You can see first, we see a 2v1 situation. Nfinite's kind of held up, so it's up to YouTube to try and stop this. He does although he doesn't make the save himself, he puts Kang a little bit off guard because he pushes, you can see right here, he's holding onto the shield and he pushes back off the shield and boosts immediately forward. So Kang wasn't quite ready for that, you can see, because of the way he moved himself backwards. Looks like he's trying to fade back into goal, give Kang a little bit more time than he actually had. And then he ends up pressuring it. The disc does just ding off the side. So that's a pretty good play by YouTube trying to throw him off. A little bit risky because he did take the throw right near the 3-point line. So that could have been really disastrous for Nfinite had it gone in. But it did end up working out. Did he recover the disc here then? You see the disc goes to Andy, who has a little bit of time. You can see immediately YouTube and Zach stack up here. They're probably coming to Andy now that they do have a stack, and so Andy can just kind of go for a clear. The clear gets out. Nfinite stack does end up getting there first. And then just kind of a really risky pass to Zach, but it does end up working out for them. And this is just why Nfinite was able to... this is one of the big reasons why Nfinite was able to beat Jokr in this matchup. It's just because, like we've seen in past clips, Nfinite really played to Jokr's weaknesses. They played slow. They're playing collected. They're using their defensive chains to their advantage, and they're just playing a really strong individual performance. Even if they had used those previously mentioned tactics about playing slow, about using the chain, about breaking Jokr out, being really good brawlers, a lot of this match just came down to Nfinite's individual performance. I'm not really covering it too much in this video because it's not really my style, but Nfinite really did put on a really crazy, all four of the members put on incredible individual performance. Like, this shot is no easy feat whatsoever. He's moving upwards. He's got a very tight angle on the goal. He's floating away from the goal, so it's got less speed than it has. And he had somebody on him. So this is just a really incredible shot to see them make. And it really just kind of goes to show how well Nfinite was playing this match and why they were able to get the victory away from Jokr. Jumping into the next clip here, we see Jokr with the launch. We can see Nfinite with the defensive chain again, chasing the disc down. Bad pass by Jokr ends up in the hands of Nfinite. The disc does end up getting knocked free, and Nfinite does recover it. YouTube takes control of the disc, and they slow it down once again. So the big star of this play, and I wanted to highlight, is the way that Nfinite's defensive chain plays. You can see here they're pressuring forward. They're pressuring Dash. Again, Dash, his style of QB, he doesn't hold the nest, he moves forward. So you get the Nfinite stack gets close to him. They don't get close enough so that Dash can break it up after he passes it, but they get close enough that he's worried enough and that he respects that they can get to him pretty fast, so he gets rid of the disc. The pass is a little bit bad because, again, he's being pressured by the stack, so the pass does go a little bit off. And the stack is ready. So even if if Jay had received the disc here, the stack was already coming. They were getting there pretty quickly, but as soon as they saw that the disc just bounced, they stopped here and they changed directions. They chased the disc again. You can see then there's a 3-man stun. All 3 get stunned here. This kind of gets popped out. And then you can see who's that? Andy here. kind of pushes Jokr away, getting the regrab on him, not letting him get to the disc because he knows his teammate's coming here. So again, you can see they're just kind of regrabbing each other, not really letting him get a grip on anything. Let's Palace grab the disc, pass it back to YouTube, and again, they slow the disc down. They're playing their game. They're playing really slow. They're slowing the pace of the matchup. This is not something that Jokr is used to, and not something that they like to play against. And again, it does work out in Nfinite's favor here. But yeah, just the way that Nfinite's stack played, they pressured the goalie, or they pressured the QB without actually putting themselves in danger of getting broken up, because the strength, while these stacks are incredibly strong at applying constant pressure to the team with disc possession, they are weak in the sense that if Dash had grabbed a hold of them here and kept them punched, then all of a sudden Jokr can move up as a 3v2, where one of the two is a goalie. So essentially a 3v1 is if you're talking about only the players then with a goalie, which is incredibly in their favor. But Nfinite does well of spacing their stack out. They're applying enough pressure to Dash that it forces them to pass the disc, but they're staying separated enough that they're not in danger of getting broken up. It's a really good play by Nfinite. Let's hop on the next clip. So here we see Dash moving up with the disc. He's got one player at midfield. He's got his teammates on the left. Zach is able to duck down and grab the disc. Goes for a cloud shot. Misses his off of Nest. Joker's able to stack back, grab the disc, recover. Clear through the tunnel this time. But Nfinite has a stack back. They're able to stop the clear once again. A little bit of a bad pass here by the Indy, but it's picked up by Jokr. Passes it through. YouTube's able to get a hand on it this time. Passes it over to Palace, and then Palace is able to take the shot and sink the three-pointer, ending the series, winning it for Nfinite, because at this point Jokr had run out of time. There's not enough time left for them to score the amount of points they needed to get back in the game. So let's go through just this last thing, and just especially in a situation like this, 1 minute left, Jokr's in a bit of a panic state. They don't have a lot. They have a time left, but they don't have a huge amount of time left, and they do need to score 3 if they want to avoid overtime. You can see here they go for kind of a low clear, a little bit risky, but it was going towards his stack here, so it would have been really good for them if they made it through. Zach is able to duck down and grab a hand on it and get it back. And just the way that Nfinite play this is they played a really strong midline defense here, waiting for that open shot eventually. And again, this time they had a stack back here, Nfinite. After Zach took the shot here, you can see kind of on the back, these two players stacked up, they backed up, and they're waiting for the clear from Jokr. And as soon as the clear comes through, they're able to chase the disc, grab it, and put it right back into the zone. Pass goes off to Zach. Unfortunately, doesn't get there because of the block. But this time, again, Andy is sort of covering this low angle. Once Jokr gets it, and YouTube's covering high, so he doesn't really have anywhere to slap it. He tries to slap it forward. YouTube is able to get a hand on it, though. Jokr gets punched out, and then Palace is able to get himself open enough so that they can find the open shot and play it open. So Nfinite does a really good job of just kind of choking Jokr out. They know that at this point that they're playing time. And so you can see, even though they got this clear off kind of at the beginning of the clip, they kind of let them have it. Palace grabs the thing, just backs up, covering the side pass angle. Zach's pressuring, and then he's got the other two teammates back here covering various angles. Zach's able to down to get there, get the clear. Obviously, his Dash had two teammates in the left tunnel, but Palace was over there, so that wouldn't have been a great angle to take. The right tunnel, there's nobody really over there. Even though it was open, it would have basically just been a free-for-all for the disc, and so that's no guarantee the Jokr would have got it. If he cleared it through the right tunnel, it would have kind of been anyone's game, and it's a 50-50 that if Nfinite recovers the disc and gets a clear back out, then Joker's looking really hurt on time. So Dash ends up going for the risky play, trying to get it to his teammate there. It doesn't end up working out, and so Nfinite's able to get the thing. But again, here, after the disc is recovered, Nfinite immediately backs up. They put one person here to pressure, but they play the back chain on the map. You can see they end up recovering the disc again, once again, move it through, and then again playing, just covering all the angles. Jay does, again, this situation doesn't have anywhere you can really throw the disc. He's got a player right on him, so he needs to get rid of it immediately. He's got a player kind of covering this low angle. He's got a player covering this high angle behind this block. Because YouTube's anchored, he can kind of push up. He can cover all the way up to here, and obviously he can cover pretty low too, because he does. And again, just Nfinite does a really good job. They're playing the time, and you can see again, once they finally break open, they're playing very patiently. They're waiting for the good opportunity. While Jokr has to play fast, Nfinite doesn't have to. If the 40 seconds go by with nothing actually happening, Nfinite is totally okay with that, and they're absolutely happy with this. But obviously, they do find Palace open. Jokr, again, has to play aggressively. Palace drops low, kind of losing Dash. who was covering him previously. Kang pressures up, Rhino pressures up on the disc holder. Jaywalker's stunned out, but kind of pressuring the back pass. The back pass isn't really an option. Luckily, Dude Palace does end up shaking his defender, and then I'm getting his thing. Dash, although he did, Dash got shook here, but Dash also, because YouTube's kind of open, Dash did go for the. You can see he's going for the save. He's expecting YouTube to take that shot, but again, Palace is open over here. It's kind of able to slip by Joker's defenses. Wasn't really seen, and they're able to get that goal. So really good job to Nfinite. They did a really nice job of just playing to Joker's weaknesses, as well as having all four of them having really great, solid individual performances, and that's why they're able to take this. Not only dethroning Jokr and beating them, but beating them 2-0 is really impressive, and it's a really good showing. So I'm excited to see what they bring to the finals this coming weekend.